Hello and welcome to Study Circuit Revision doing GCSE Edexcel Astronomy, Topic 6, Celestial Observation. Now this video is going to be in two parts. The first part, which we're doing today, is going to be on the night sky and observational techniques. So here are some recall questions. Pause the video and have a go. And here are your answers. First, we're going to talk about the night sky. So in this section, we're just going to go over objects you can see. And there are some objects which we're going to look over in the next slides, which you're going to have to know what they look like and be able to describe them a little bit about them. So have a go at naming these objects. And here are the answers. You might not know what a double star is. It's two stars that are not close together in space, but they look close together when viewed from Earth. Here are the next ones, and here are your answers. An asterism is a smaller part of a constellation. It doesn't have to actually be part of a constellation, but the constellations are officially recognised and asterisms aren't. Now, comets are bodies of ice and dust that orbit a star. Here are some more. And here are the answers. You needed to make sure you wrote meteoroid here, because there are three different words for meteoroid. There's meteoroid, which is when a meteoroid is in space, a meteor, which is when a meteor is in the Earth's atmosphere, and a meteorite, which is when a meteorite is on the Earth's surface. Next is a nebula, which is a cloud of gas and dust, where a star is born or has died. There are also clusters. There are two different types of clusters you have to know. There's an open cluster, which is just a general term for a cluster, a group of stars close together in space. And a globular cluster is a spherically shaped cluster of old stars. And here are the final questions. And here are your answers. A supernova is an explosion of a star. An aurora is when charged particles interact with the Earth's magnetic field. And for this one, you would have had to put artificial satellite, because a satellite is a body that orbits another body. So the moon is a satellite of Earth, but an artificial satellite is a man-made satellite, like the satellites that orbit Earth. Now we're going to move on to constellations. So these are the constellations you will have to identify and draw, and you'll have to know whether each of these are constellations or asterisms. So Cassiopeia is a constellation, Orion is a constellation, the Southern Cross is an asterism, but it can also be called Crux, which includes all the dimmer stars, and that is a constellation crux. The Plough is an asterism, the Square of Pegasus is an asterism, and Cygnus, which I'm pretty sure is not pronounced like that, is a constellation. Now, can you remember what each of these are called? Pause the video and have a go. And here are the answers. Next, we're going to move on to pointers. So you're going to have to be able to use constellations and asterisms as pointers to find other stars. Now, there are lots of these, but you only have to know about a few of them. So using the Plough, you can imagine it's a saucepan, and use the end of the saucepan and go up to find Polaris. Now you can use the handle of the saucepan to find Arcturus. Next, Orion. Now Orion has three stars in the middle, which are called Orion's belt. Now if you use Orion's belt and go down, you can find Sirius, and if you connect the stars in Orion's belt and go up, then you can find Aldebaran, and if you continue, you can find the Pleiades cluster. Finally, you have to use the Square of Pegasus as a pointer. So if you connect the top right and bottom right stars, you can go down to find Fomalhaut, and if you connect the top left and bottom right stars, you can go up to find the Andromeda galaxy. Next, constellations and asterism names. There are different names for constellations and asterisms, and this is because of different cultures, religions, languages, and locations on Earth's surface. Here are some questions about the night sky. Pause the video and have a go at them. And here are your answers. Next, we're going to move on to a bit about the eye. So here is a biology review on things you may have already learnt in biology GCSE. Pause the video and have a go at them. And here are your answers. Rod and cone cells will detect light. Rod cells are detecting dim light, and cone cells detect bright light and colour. These are in the retina, and the electrical impulses that light is converted into is sent to the brain by the optic nerve. Light reaches the retina because the cornea refracts light onto the lens, which refracts again, focusing it on the retina. The iris will control the shape of the pupil, which is the hole that lets light through. Here is a diagram of the eye. Now I'm going to tell you about two different naked eye observing techniques, which are called dark adapted eye and averted vision. So dark adapted eye is caused by the iris changing shape. So when you're in a bright room, the eye doesn't want to let too much light through because it will break your eye. So the iris will shrink to let as little light through as possible. Now, if it's dark, on the other hand, the iris will get bigger to let as much light through as possible. So dark adaptation is when the iris takes time to adapt to darkness. So imagine you just turned off the light. You're not going to be able to make out objects very quickly, but after like 5 minutes of being in the same room with the light off, you'll be able to make out the surroundings a little bit. Now there's also averted vision, which is basically caused by rod cells. So there are more rod cells on the sides of the retina around here. So when you're looking for faint objects, you need to use the side of your eye. There are also factors to consider when going observing, which you do need to know about. I know a few of these seem very obvious. So rising and setting, this is just the sun rising and setting. It's harder to observe stars when the sun rises or sets because there's less contrast between the stars and the night sky. Seeing conditions, these are caused by turbulence in the Earth's atmosphere, and they refract the light of stars. Light pollution, which we talked about in earlier videos, is just sky glow from towns or settlements nearby, which decrease the contrast between the stars and the night sky. Next, weather. So with clouds, they obscure light from stars and make it harder to see them. And landscape is just objects around you blocking out light. So you wouldn't want to look for stars behind a mountain because you've got a mountain blocking it. Here's a 4-mark question. You can be asked 4-mark questions in exams. So just try your hardest, pause the video and give it a go. And here are the answers. So your first mark would be for selecting the best month. Second mark would be for explaining why. Third mark for selecting the best time. And fourth mark for explaining why. Here are some more questions on naked eye observing. Give them a go. And here are your answers. Here are some final questions about everything we've covered in today's video. Pause the video and give them a go. And here are your answers. Thank you for watching Study Circuit Revision. Please make sure to like and subscribe. And I will be posting the video about the rest of Topic 6 very soon.